Welcome to Food for Thought. I'm Father Paul Seil, and joining me in the kitchen today, Father Adolf Kowalczyk. And Adolf, you grew up on the east side of Buffalo, which was basically what type of ethnicity?
At that time, Polish-American.
Polish-American, German too, a little bit?
A little bit of Polish, yep.
And you grew up in, what parish was your main parish?
Transfiguration.
And Transfiguration was a parish that it's closed now, and the building's really in disrepair, I guess, isn't it? But at the time that you grew up there was really a vibrant, lively place with a lot of the... Were your parents or grandparents immigrants from Poland?
My great-grandparents on my mom's side and my dad's side, my grandfather and grandmother came from Poland.
Now, one of the things I recognize in the Polish cooking is pierogies are really a great treat. Do you ever make those? Or
Sure. Well, my mom used to make them with her mom and my sister, and I remember as a kid growing up, and it was something that we'd always do mostly around Christmas time.
Now, you've got a dish here that you made that's called lazy pierogies.
Right.
Where did this start? Do you have any idea?
I think it was really the immigrants, as they started probably spending a little bit more time working, they had less time to make the old-fashioned homemade pierogi, so they came up with this lazy pierogi.
And what goes into this?
Basically, the ingredients are noodles,
So you
sauerkraut.
Use the rotini?
Right.
Spiral noodles, okay. About how many, about a pound?
About a pound.
Okay.
And about a jar for the sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut.
And we use onions and mushrooms, always a very popular and staple ingredient in Polish dishes.
And those are things that go with the regular pierogies too, generally.
Correct.
Onions, okay. You got some mushrooms. And how do you get this? And what else? Anything? Oh, salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper.
Butter.
Butter.
Butter. Okay. And what happens? How do you put this together?
Well, basically, you want to saute the onions and the mushrooms with the butter, and you could use about a half a stick of butter, or if you want to use something a little bit more healthy, you could use like Promise. So you want to saute the mushrooms and the onions for about 5 minutes. And then during that time, you can start boiling the water for the noodles. You want to bring the water to a boil. Boil the noodles according to the directions, drain the noodles. And then you also want to saute the sauerkraut with the onions and mushrooms. You want to make sure...
What does that do by sauteing the sauerkraut?
Well, it kind of blends it all together, but you really want to make sure that you rinse the sauerkraut very well. Otherwise, it will be much too sour.
I never heard of that. Before or after you cook it?
Before.
Before you cook it?
Before you cook it.
Okay, you rinse it. Then how do you put this all together?
Well, then once you have the sauerkraut, you want to cook the sauerkraut with the onions and mushrooms for about 15 minutes in a frying pan on the stove, on low. And then once that's all completed, then you can simply take the frying pan with the mushrooms, the onions, the sauerkraut, and pour it in the pot with the noodles, and you can kind of mix them all together. And you really want to use a salt and pepper to your own flavor.
Okay. And do you put any sour cream or anything like that in it?
I don't, but you can. There are some different variations. Some people put mushroom soup in it. This is kind of a dish that would really be good for a Lenten meal. It's something that I kind of grew up with, especially like on Fridays. But you could add in other things if you like. For instance, you could also add in bacon. You could fry the onions and the mushrooms in bacon. Or you could add in smoked Polish sausage if you like.
Now, once you mix this together, does it have to bake in the oven at all? Or
you don't have to, but you could put it in the oven like I did in this crock pot.
I like it. It's very good. You want to try some?
Sure.
And without the bacon, no meat in there, it would be a perfect dish for as you start my mom. It'd be a perfect dish for Lent.
For Lent.
Don't keep eating, Father Paul. Okay. Hey, that's a little tip from my friend Father Adolf. See you next time. Until then, God bless.
Quick recipes from Father Paul Seil's Food for Thought, available on DVD. Includes cookbook. Call or check our website to order.